Being dynamic was my main quality as a player. You have to give your very best all the time, prepare as well as you possibly can, then get on the pitch and fight. These qualities made me one of the best in the world. I was born in Brasilia, the capital, and then I moved to Cuiabá. From there, I moved to São Paulo when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I started playing at school there, and that's where it all started for me.
As a youngster, Kaka attended the São Paulo Academy, where he stood out from an early age.
I'd heard a lot of good things about him. Soon after, I saw him training for the first time, and I met his family, his mum, his brother Gigao.
I spent 13 years at the club. It was where I was educated, the club that really made me and gave me a chance in football. Also, they helped me learn and develop as a player.
His progression through São Paulo's junior teams was rapid, and in January 2001 he broke into the senior squad as an 18-year-old. 2 months later, against Botafogo in the final of the Rio São Paulo tournament, Kaka announced his arrival in spectacular fashion.
This was one of the most special nights of my career because it was the final of a tournament that São Paulo had never won before. We were 1-0 down at home, and the manager called for me. I came on and ended up scoring 2 goals, and São Paulo won 2-1, meaning we were the champions. And this was the moment when I literally became well known. Overnight, my life changed completely. I'm emotional. God didn't score the goals, but he gave me the chance to score them.
That match really raised his profile within Brazilian football. That was when people started paying much more attention to Kaka. It was because he had scored those goals that he began to be noticed a lot more.
I started to be recognized. My house was full of journalists. Everyone was talking about the kid who scored the goals that gave São Paulo the title. And that's when I started to realize my life was changing.
Soon after his heroics against Botafogo, he achieved every young Brazilian boy's dream when he was called up to represent his country.
Seeing my name on that list and then wearing the yellow shirt was an amazing feeling. Playing for the Brazilian national side is a truly proud occasion.
We both began playing for the national team at practically the same time. He also started being called up for a few friendly matches before the World Cup. And from there, he grew in confidence. He was in good form for São Paulo and constantly improving.
As a fully fledged international, Kaka was called up to the 2002 World Cup in Japan and South Korea. A 25-minute group stage cameo was his sole contribution as Brazil's star-studded squad claimed another world title.
We had a squad made up of several leaders, of which I was one. And in our group in 2002, we all treated the young players in the same way that I was also treated as a young player.
The team had Rivaldo and Ronaldinho, who were massive, and Ronaldo, who was phenomenal. But it was fundamental to Kaka's entire career that he was involved in Brazil's 5th World Cup triumph.
Kaka was this 18-year-old kid following in our footsteps. And he was there, part of the squad that won the cup. A dream for any player.
After winning the World Cup, Kaka went from strength to strength at São Paulo. Then from there, he went to AC Milan, which was to be a great chapter in his amazing career.
I remember before he signed for the club, Ancelotti asked me about him, what I knew of him, what he was like, and I said he was a player with a big future.
He's a really intelligent guy, and he just had this aura about him, which made you think he would go far in football.
Kaka was fast, very fast, and that was the key to his success. He had such speed, he seemed twice as fast as everyone else. And it meant he was immediately ready for European football, without needing too long to adapt.
To me, he isn't like a Brazilian. He's more like a European player, because he has all the flair, technique and strength of a Dutch, French or Italian player, with, let's say, Brazilian DNA.
When I arrived at AC Milan, the players in my position were Rui Costa and Rivaldo. So I went there with an attitude focused more on learning from them. I thought, I'm going there to learn from these guys, and I'll slowly start to get some game time, and then I can try to earn my place.
He arrived at 21 years old and was ready to play at the highest level.
There were so many Brazilians helping in many ways. Cafu, Serginho, and so on. The team was doing well. He'd really settled in. There had been other Brazilian idols there too, such as Rivaldo, who was a massive player like Kaka. So the fans identified with Kaka, which was marvelous.
He had the personality to succeed. It's not easy to play in Italy. Italian football is hard with tough man marking. Very difficult.
Having helped Milan to their first Scudetto in 5 years, the following season saw Kaka's influence grow further as he inspired his team to the last 4 of the Champions League. A tricky semi-final against PSV Eindhoven was heading to extra time until Kaka teed up Massimo Ambrosini for a crucial injury-time away goal. The Istanbul final saw them face English side Liverpool. However, despite an outstanding first half from Kaka and his teammates, they were to be left frustrated.
I deeply regret losing that final because of the way it happened, from 3-0 up to 3-3 in 6 minutes. And then we lost on penalties. I learned so much from that game, on a personal level, as well as professional. Of course, everyone wants to win. Everyone thinks about winning, but the experience of losing that game helped me become more mature as a person.
The disappointment of that defeat only served to inspire Kaka to even greater performance levels. And in the following season, he fired 19 goals, including his first Serie A hat-trick, as his upward trajectory continued unabated. The summer of 2006 saw him head to the World Cup in Germany as a key part of the Brazil squad looking to retain their title.
It's amazing, such a joy. Every time I'm called up for the national team and I see my name on the list and get to wear the green and yellow top and sing the national anthem, it's an incredible feeling. It's an honor to play for the Brazilian national side, knowing there are millions out there supporting you, that they're happy when you win, that they're sad when you lose. It's really cool to have that privilege.
The German capital of Berlin was the venue for Brazil's first match of the tournament.
That opening game against Croatia was very difficult. It was a tough game for Brazil. We didn't create many goal-scoring opportunities, and at that moment, his individual quality made the difference. Scoring a goal that was not very common for us at that time, as it was from outside the box. It was a very nice individual goal.
Despite going on to top their group, Brazil exited at the quarter-final stage to eventual runners-up France, a defeat which also signalled the end of Ronaldinho as the team's headline act.
This created a Ronaldinho vacuum, which was gradually filled by Kaka. He became a very important player for Brazil under Dunga.
Kaka happily shouldered the creative burden, And during a friendly match in London against old foes Argentina, he scored a goal which perfectly encapsulated his all-round ability.
Virou uma marca dele, né?
That became his trademark, the Kaka football style. It was what he was doing at AC Milan, and he managed to score this magnificent goal for the national team. It was very similar to other goals he'd scored, where he showed speed, strength, and overall, great intelligence.
He picked up the ball in his own half and dribbled past everyone, and it was Messi who was unable to catch him. He carried on and rolled it past the keeper, 3-0. It was one of those classic Kaka goals.
Andrei Shevchenko's departure for Chelsea in the summer of 2006 meant Kaka also took centre stage for Milan. And he was imperious as the Rossoneri sailed through the group phase of the 2006-2007 Champions League, scoring his first hat-trick in the competition against Belgian side Anderlecht. In the last 16, they were pitted against Scottish champions Celtic. Following a goalless draw in Glasgow, Milan were also becoming frustrated in the second leg. And with time running out, Kaka took matters into his own hands.
Well, with Kaka, he's a player that has amazing ball control. And he's so strong, with incredible acceleration, not unlike how I played. He played in a simple manner, but the acceleration he had was so impressive, and one of the reasons he was considered the best player in the world.
Bayern Munich were also dispatched 4-2 on aggregate in the last 8 to set up a mouth-watering semi-final clash against two-time European champions Manchester United.
I have fantastic memories from that game because even though we lost at Old Trafford, the goals I scored over there were very special in my career, mainly the second one. It was one of the most beautiful goals I've scored in my life. Definitely in my top 5.
I remember that skill of Kaka and his style. There was a great atmosphere in the stadium, and everyone recognized the talent Kaka had. So I went onto the pitch to applaud him. Kaka performed amazingly that day against Manchester United.
Playing over there with the importance of that game, the status of Manchester United, it was a really good game.
Despite Kaka's virtuoso performance, a late Wayne Rooney goal meant Milan hosted the return leg trailing 3-2.
In the second leg, we had to win at home. Our supporters were behind us, and the team played really well. It was a very special game. The Italian press said we played a perfect match. And scoring the opener was a very special moment in my career.
Kaka led Milan to a 3-0 win and another Champions League final where he would encounter familiar opponents.
I had the desire and motivation just to win the Champions League, but I never thought about revenge against Liverpool or trying to solve everything myself. It was just about doing my very best. It was cool, obviously, because it was against Liverpool, a very historic English club, and a team that defeated us 2 years earlier. But to me, it was just a tournament I wanted to win, and we went 2 goals up. Then they pulled one back towards the end of the game, and we were thinking, is it really going to happen again? But 5 minutes later, the referee blew the final whistle, and we felt the euphoria of being European champions.
That was the peak of his career. because he really was the key to us winning the Champions League that year.
When you lift that trophy, which means you're the best team in Europe, I can't even describe the feeling because it's such an intense feeling, being European champion.
Milan went on to lift the UEFA Super Cup. Kaka, scoring as Sevilla were beaten 3-1 in Monaco. 4 months later, and the FIFA World Club Cup was also won. Player of the tournament, Kaka, grabbing another goal as Boca Juniors were beaten 4-2 in the final in Yokohama.
He reached an extraordinary level of both confidence and physical strength. And at that moment, he was easily the best player in Europe. So much so, he won the Ballon d'Or.
He had a great season, just like he had in the preceding years. That particular year, he also won the Champions League, which made it an even more special season for him. It also helped him win that particular trophy.
In 2007, I had a truly fantastic season. With AC Milan, we won everything we played for. The Champions League, the European Super Cup, and the Club World Cup in Japan. Then, I was named the best player in the world, as well as being the Champions League top scorer. So it was a season that really lit up my career, giving me several individual awards. But all of these were a result of what we achieved as a team.
He stood out as a great player, and he managed to win the World Player of the Year award, which is hugely important in any footballer's career.
It was fantastic, a privilege and an honour to be named on the list of the world's best players, because it's such a small list. There are thousands of players in the world, and thousands that went before. And you're on this exclusive list, where your name will remain forever.
He was the man. At that time, there was no one else like him.
Kaka had the football world at his feet. However, an incident 7 years earlier had threatened more than just his career.
I was 18 and at my grandparents' house. I dived into the shallow end of their swimming pool and hit my head against the bottom of the pool and fractured my 6 vertebrae in my neck. The very first question I asked the doctors was, will I be able to play football again? I saw 3 different doctors, and all of them told me the same thing. You have to thank God that you're even able to walk. I was out for 2 months, and when I came back from my neck injury, in January 2001, I made my professional debut for São Paulo. So it was a good lesson for me to always keep my faith.
Kaka's belief and selfless outlook had been recognised in 2004, when the 22-year-old was appointed as United Nations World Food Ambassador.
Nowadays, football players are icons around the world. And they can help in different ways by getting other players involved and by using their image to unite people, to fight hunger.
He comes from a stable religious family. He was spiritual. This really helped Kaka to do what he did and what he continues to do today.
I think his belief and his religion made him a very humble guy, very responsible and focused on his job.
It's something I really enjoy doing, talking about Jesus, about Christian values, and about how he helps me with my life. So all of this brings me great happiness.
Inevitably, as Kaka's standing within the game peaked, the world's richest clubs cast admiring glances at Milan's crown jewel. And in June 2009, after 18 months of speculation, Real Madrid finally got their man. A €68 million fee was enough to take him from the San Siro to the Santiago Bernabeu.
It's an interesting project for me. It's a motivation. I'm 27 years old, and it'll be an important push for me to continue my career at a high level.
Fresh from becoming the world's most expensive player, Kaka helped Brazil to their 3rd Confederations Cup title in South Africa, claiming the Golden Ball as the tournament's outstanding player in the process. On his return from international duty, he settled quickly into life at Real Madrid, ending his first season in the Spanish capital with 9 goals to his name. However, a knee injury, which required an operation in 2010, was the beginning of a difficult period for the Brazilian.
I had to battle to win my place, to get playing time, and against injuries. Then there was the psychological aspect. How was I going to come back from injury? After knee surgery, was I going to make it or not?
It just didn't work out. Added to the injuries were tactical problems. Milan had been built around Kaka. But at Real Madrid, because of Ronaldo's ability, the team was built around him. Kaka always told me that he worried about his role within the team.
I couldn't find form because of injuries and some managerial decisions. But I respected that and always tried to prove that I could help the team in any way I could on the pitch.
Despite the problems, he continued to show glimpses of the talent that led him to being the world's best player. Ultimately, though, the Galactico philosophy at Real Madrid jarred with Kaka's naturally humble nature, and he returned to Milan in 2013.
I'm very thankful to have had the opportunity to play 4 seasons for Real Madrid, where I managed 130 games, 30 goals, and 3 trophies.
Kaka's solitary season back at the San Siro helped him regain his form and desire, and in 2014, newly created MLS side Orlando City lured him to the USA to become the league's star attraction. It was a move which also afforded him the opportunity to make an emotional 6-month loan return to his first love, Sao Paulo, whilst waiting to begin life stateside.
My comeback was a great experience, returning to play for the club where I was educated at a very different stage of my life and career.
At Sao Paulo, Kaka will always be a legend. Having become the best player in the world, a world champion, as well as playing for Milan and Real Madrid.
He's a fantastic guy, very chilled. A good friend, but he's a hard worker too. Everything he achieved, like coming back to Sao Paulo, which many people thought unlikely, he managed to achieve against the odds through hard work and dedication.
I'd like to thank Sao Paulo again and all the supporters for everything they've done for me, for the affection towards me, because the feeling's mutual. The love I feel for this club is very special.
Above all, he's a great man, well respected, a good friend, and a real family man who is surrounded by fame and glamour, but chooses to remain a simple, humble guy.
I'm sure he'll be remembered as a winner, a true champion and a fantastic player who has dedicated his whole life to football.
He was a brilliant footballer who made history with Sao Paulo, AC Milan and the Brazilian national side.
I'd like to be remembered as a great player who was one of the very best in the world, a player who always tried to be a good sportsman and who used football as a way to improve people's lives.